Hello, good evening. Good evening. My name is Kwabena. Good evening. Um, it's another day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want us to, share together what I have on my mind today, and it's about work more. Work more. It makes a lot of difference. Work more. It makes a lot of difference. Usually, most people assume that it's it's a bit difficult to make a difference in our country, especially let's say most people are looking for jobs they are not getting, or they are trying to build a business. It's difficult. So we assume that when we go to another country, we will succeed that quickly. And it's a huge argument. Sometimes you meet some people. And I remember there was a time years ago when this guy was actually building the whole argument on the fact that most of the big men that we have here happen to have gone somewhere, come back. That's why they were able to build any life. It's a strong argument. I remember there was a time another guy were at a place and he was making a strong argument that is so much difficult, so much tough, and for him to have any headway at all, he would have to find another place. Just move around outside the continent, go to some of those countries, and when you go, it will be very easy for you to, find a living and make some success out of your life. So, looking at the people who went outside, they came to build houses. Some of them go the next 3 4 years, they are buying cars. So their whole conviction is that it is that difficult, and if you want an easy way out, then just move somewhere, go, and once you go, you will find success. The argument, I don't know whether it's right, but I think that there's a there's a big key, and that big key is that whatever that you find your hands to do, wherever you live, if you're able to work more, work harder than everybody else, if you're able to put in a lot of hours, you will make a difference. You will make a difference. And that's for me, that is the magic. That wherever that you live, whatever country that you have opted to live, if you decide to work more than everybody, if you decide to do more, I think that one of the reasons most people who move outside the country try to get a bit, you know, some kind of leverage in terms of finances, because they do a lot. They put in the hours. They don't sleep. They don't play around. Some of them work 3 jobs, 4 jobs, and it's constant work, 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 work. Even though they pay them salary, some of them are, because they are working, because they are putting in the hours. I think that that plays a major role. So even if you look at our country, you see the people who have provision shops, kiosks, those who have shops in the market, their finances are a bit different. Why? Because they don't sleep. They work so much. Some of the market women, 4 a.m. You see them in trotro going to the market. Some of them come very late, 7, 9, constantly they are working. That's why a lot of them have some kind of leverage. You see the provision shop woman, she's always working, always working. They come early in the morning, they close very late. These people, a lot of them are not complaining. A lot of them are not crying that it's that difficult, because if you put in the hours, you will succeed. It's very likely that you will do far more better because you're putting in the hours. Life, wherever you live, whatever that you do, if you're going to see success, you must understand that it is going to take a lot of hours, a lot of work, a lot of effort. And that they should tell us. You don't wish that, somebody is somewhere, and then one day everything changes. I think that those who are working more, if somebody is working 4 hours a day and another person is working 16 hours a day, no matter which argument that you put out, you know, the 16 hours guy, if he does that for many years, if he does that for 10 years, 20 years, you cannot compete with them. Life is that simple. When we were in school, those who were studying constantly, others were sleeping. They told us that the guys who were studying had brains. I think the magic, the trick, was not so much because they had brains, but it was so much because they were burning the candle. They were studying. They were constantly learning. They were following the process. So, and I think in real life, that is what makes the difference. So wherever anybody lives, I don't believe that, I have to move, because if I move now, go to Nigeria, go to Togo, I'll go to Dubai, because the basic salary, the basic rate per hour is big, I will make a difference. I think, and it's my thought anyway, that if you are here and you put in a lot of the hours, if you if you live life as casual, you become casual. That's so true. If you put in the hours, if you're building a business, for instance, and you're not sleeping, you get up early in the morning, you're doing the calculation, you're working, you're prompt, you're diligent, you work hard, you don't play with your work. Somebody gives you work, let's say you're a carpenter, somebody gives you work, you give them the timelines, you follow it, you don't joke, you do good work, you are not tricking them, you are not lying to them on the money. There will be so many people who will be calling you. So it's the diligence of work that makes the difference. It's not so much that, I've been working. If you see anybody complaining, it's because they are not putting in the hours. Most people who are working well and making a lot of efforts, don't have time to complain. Don't have time to complain at all. And so make the difference by working more. It's a huge game changer. That is where the trick is. If you see anybody you think is doing well, it's because the only reason they're doing well is because they are doing more. They are working more. That's why they are doing well. If they are winning, if anybody is winning at anything, it's because they are winning. They're doing more. They are exercising more. They are playing. They are not joking. They take their work more seriously. That's where the success of life is. When you meet the Christians, they will tell you that is the grace of God that makes the difference. They quote all kind of things because they want an alibi. They want an excuse. They want to blame God for their failure, for their laziness. It makes a lot of difference for you to put in the hours. If you're not putting in the hours, you're joking. Nobody is succeeding at anything who is a lazy person. It doesn't work like that. I remember the last elections, I could see let's say the president was moving from every city, every village, and this was an old man. He was in his 60s, probably, latter part of his 60s, and he was going from everywhere. I was like, this guy is old. Why is he moving everywhere? Late in the night, 12 a.m., and he's meeting some chiefs. That's why he won. If you see the boxers, the great boxers, they're practicing when everybody is sleeping. The great footballers, that's what they do. Talent per se, we have given a lot of hype to talent, but talent for me, everybody has it. The only thing is that most people have not identified yet, but every one of us was born with a talent. The difference is not with the talent. The difference is in the extra work that you do, how much more you do beyond the talent. That is what the difference is. Nobody was born as, let's say, you're born without any intelligence or without any gift. Nobody. Every human being was born with something. So that's not the magic. Everybody has something that they came into this life with. The difference is, are you ready to work more, to put in put in more hours? They say that for you to become an expert at anything, you should at least put not less than 10,000 hours into anything. That's what they say. That is technically like 8 to 10 years. You should be able to put a lot of hours in something to get 10 hours, 10,000 hours. And until you get 10,000 hours of input into anything, you are not a master or you are not an expert in that. And so the business is the same. If you have not put in 10,000 hours, you have no excuse to give up, to say that it was difficult. The profession that you have, if you go, there are people who work in the government agencies, with the government institutions, for instance. They work, they take break, they go to work 8, they take 2 hours to eat. Then they move around, small, sitting on the table, behind the table, they don't do anything. 12, they are going for lunch. They come, they talk, politics, everything. Some of them are, opening their Bible reading. Then just for they move to the house. If you do that, how much of hours, quality, have you made any quality input in terms of the work that you're doing? So you can be there for 20 years and really effective work that you have done could be just a year. And working a year effectively is not able to change anybody's life. Not their finances, not their expertise, not even their positions or their promotion. So if you put in the hours, you make the difference. And that's why people who are working in, especially those people who have their own businesses, people who have their own jobs, people who have created something, that demand that they have to be there for them to make any progress. That's because the work, they have to go before they make any revenue. They force themselves to just put in the work, put in the hours. They don't know that just mere fact that they are working constantly, effectively, efficiently, every day they are at work, they don't sleep, they are diligent. Those things that you are doing, after 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, you see that there is some kind of growth, some kind of expansion, some kind of financial progress, some kind of, it is natural. And anybody who is good at anything, explain and show me anybody who has been putting a lot of effort in their work, trying to get better, and tell me how poor those people are. It does not. They will come up with all kind of argument. People will tell you that it doesn't matter. It's not he who runs something. They quote all kind of things. But that's just one side. The fact is that if anybody is working effectively, if anybody is putting in the hours, they will win. No matter where they live, they will win at life. So do more than is expected of you. Work more hours. Don't play with it. Your life is not going to change by wishful thinking. You cannot play laziness and think that your life is going to change. You cannot spend a lot of hours, like the way we spend a lot of hours at funerals, in churches, political things, and thinking that our lives will change. That's why most people who, seem to make any progress are people who just, it and I know it. They are living on the government revenue. But for you to get your own revenue, for you to build your own, you must put in the hours. You cannot play with it. You cannot joke with it. You cannot take anybody's, whatever anybody is saying. The progress that you're going to make, they are going to require that you put in the hours. So work more. It makes a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference. If you work more, and you stop complaining, even at your work, at a job, you work in any place. If you work more than anybody else at the workplace, if you do more than anybody else, if you put more hours, they're looking for somebody. Let's say you are into sales. If everybody is making 20,000, you are trying to make 30,000. If everybody is working for 3 hours, you are working for 7 hours. If everybody is trying to meet clients, 3 of them, 4 of them, that's the target that they have given you a day, and you try to meet 10, 20, 40, you will make the progress. You will win if you work more. You will win if you do more. You will win if you master the work. Nobody, it doesn't matter how many hours. It will get to a breaking point. It will get to a point that you start to see success because of all the hours of effort that you have put in. And it is true at everything. People spend, like, let's say, sometimes you start a business and you don't have any good plan. So you waste a lot of time. Yet time is going. So maybe you have been in the business for 20 years or 10 years. But if you look at it well, the amount of time that you spent on chasing quality project, or the amount of time that you spent in following the sales, the things that drive the business, or so little. Yet you look back and you have spent so many years on this business, but you've not been effective. The rare hours that have gone to the work, you know, the rare hours that you spent, targeting to getting results was that much, were that much small. And so you see that even though you have been in the business for 10 years, you still haven't made any progress, because the progress is going to come based on the quality hours. And we are saying that it will not take you less than 10,000 effective hours in anything. Progress. If you want to master any subject and you study that hours, you'll be a master. If you want to master any skill and you put in those, let's say piano, those who practice or those who play piano, the only reason they are very masterful is because they practice. They practice. Some of them practice 8 hours a day. They practice like that, 8 hours every day. And if they do that for 5 years, 10 years, they'll be a master. That's how life is. The people who people who master anything, they put in their way. So have a plan for your life. Have a plan for your life, have a plan for your finances, have a plan for your achievement, and understand that the only way you're going to make the difference is because you're going to put in the hours. It's not magic. This one, if you're looking for any magic, this is it. That when everybody else is sleeping, you're working. When everybody else is giving excuses, you're working. When everybody else is saying that they are sick, they can't work again, they are tired, you are working. When everybody else is telling you all the things that they are telling people, because it's very common. A lot of people are lazy. They get to work today, they go home, the family is telling them, what kind of work do you have? How much at all do they pay you? That you are spending all your time following this. Go and find a school. Because most of us in our country, we think that going to school is an achievement, it's a big achievement. So most people have gone to school, a lot of certificates, but they cannot work. And the progress in life, the rare one, is not even in certificate. It's in what you can do with a certificate. So you have a lot of people working, and the family will talk you out of you working. Most people, when they work well at the company, when they take the work so much seriously, they will even ask you, is the work your father's? Is it for your mother? Is it for your father? Why are you killing yourself for this company? They don't know that when they talk you into doors and you accept it, it means that you are shortchanging, you are cutting your own future, because you cannot build any great future with laziness and excuses. And so it is your life. Nobody will detect it. And if you're thinking that if I move from Ghana and I go to London, I will be successful, the only reason that you may make any difference in London is not maybe you're working 3-4 jobs. That's why. So you're putting in the hours. They may not tell you like that, but really, what is making the difference there is because you're putting in the hours. You're working, and when you go, they will not let you sleep. They will not let you sit down. They will require that you work. Maybe you think that your life will change if you move to Canada. When you get there, you have to work. And if you don't work, you will not eat. The only people who don't work and they eat are the people who are the kings and the queens of this earth. Their grandparents have built empires. But if you're like me and like the other person, and you have to build everything by yourself, you have got to sweat. You have got to put in the hours. And working to get results is not so much tiresome like people think. If you only think that you're working just to get the money, that's where sometimes people get exhausted. But you should add meaning to the work that you do. You should add meaning. You should think, yes, about the money, but beyond the money, what difference are you making? What difference are you bringing? What progress are you bringing? Some of those thoughts will help you to work more hours. You don't get tired because you're passionate about what you're doing, the differences that you're making, the changes that you're bringing. And nobody becomes great without working. Nobody becomes great without working. Your greatness is in the work that you do. If you see any top surgeon, it's because he does the surgery. If you hear any top lawyer, it's because he's in court talking, looking at the papers. If you hear any great footballer, it's because they work, they play. That's the work that they do. If you hear of any business person who's making a lot of changes, it's because they don't sleep, they work. There's no anybody who is great at anything, who is moving around and giving excuses. And so when you can see the future of people, it's not magic, but how much and how seriously they take their work. You can see what the future of any person is going to be, but how seriously they take their work. You don't need a prophet. You don't need lotto. You don't need magic. You just look at how they work and you see whether they are going to make progress or they are going to fail. A lot of African countries, they say that we are not rich, and yet we have a lot of hours to joke and smile and follow football and debate. I think that the prospects and the narratives are going to change by themselves. No nation, no company, no individual is able to build anything with their lives if they are not putting in the hours. If they are not putting in the hours, they are not. So if you cannot put in the hours, or if you can put in more hours, your life will change. You don't have to run away and get visa. Any work that you're doing here now, if you put in the hours, if you have a farm and you don't joke with it, you have a poultry farm, you don't joke with it, you have a carpentry shop, you don't play, you work every time people see you working, you have a business, you're not joking, there's full attention to it. Whatever that you do for a living, whatever that you do to make a difference, everybody can see that this guy is serious, doesn't joke. That is where the magic is. That is where the miracle actually is. If you're looking for miracle, that is where it is. How much you focus on what you do, that's where the miracle is. In your business, in your company, where you work, let's say you are the manager of a share shop or something, or the fuel station. They expect you to come to work 6 o'clock. 5:30, you are there. And you're diligent, you're checking everything that they have given you. You're not looking for money to steal. You're not looking for a place to take advantage of anybody. You just want to work and be so much efficient at what you do. And that is what pays off. It's not the connections and the stealings. Those will destroy your future. Those will cripple you. But if the same thing that you think you can steal to get, if you become so much diligent at what you do, the same thing, give yourself just 5 to 10 years. You see explosion. You so much explode. Because it's natural. It's a natural law. It favors anybody who follows it. So if you just think that, most people think that life is like lotto. It's magic. It will just happen. It doesn't happen. It takes a lot of effort. So work more. Don't debate this. Don't fight this. People just debate on things that will improve their lives. Work more. You cannot be lazy and think that your life is going to change. So the more work you put in the hours that you have is what brings the difference. Nothing more brings the difference than how work or how seriously we take our work. How seriously we take our work. So any company that is doing well, any individual that you see around, anybody that you think you are envy, anybody that you think is making any progress anywhere, you don't need any magic to ask them anything. They just work. They don't play. They are at it. They put in a lot of effort. They're not giving excuses. They want to do more. That's what they do. They don't play. Now the other ones who are suffering are looking for miracles and looking for prayer from one prayer camp to the other. All kind of people declaring all kind of things. It's because these facts, this principle, they are arguing with it. They are fighting it. And it's for the lazy. A diligent hand will prosper. A diligent hand will prosper. It means that a hand that is serious at what that hand does. That's all. So success, progress, development, growth, they are all product of investment of quality hours. And once you're putting in the hours, once you set the part, don't worry so much about the progress. It will come. Don't worry so much. Sometimes it may seem like it is you're delaying, you're not making any headway, but you're becoming better every day. If you push yourself through it, you will see progress. So instead of you crying and weeping and paying all connection men to go to Israel or Egypt or Iraq, nowadays they go to even Saudi Arabia, or the young men, if what you do, let's say you have a job, maybe you are a security guy, and let's say you go to work at 6 and you close around 2. Once you close around 2, can you get another work from 3 or 4 to 7 or 8? And when you come home, can you also work something that you do for yourself? Because the more hours you're putting in, that's what is going to bring the change. Let's say you're a teacher. You go to work 8, you come home 2 o'clock, you have closed, and you do nothing. And then after 20 years, you want to complain that teaching was bad. It's not teaching that was bad. You did not put in hours to get results. You work for 6, 7 hours, 8 to 2 every day, and then from 3 to the next day, you don't do anything. The same teacher, if he gets a visa to go to America, work 3 jobs, 4 jobs, and then he comes to build a house here, and they tell you that America is different. But meanwhile, when you were here, you were working 1 job, the same hours. If you put in the hours, you will see progress in your finances, in your output, in everything. So people, if you see anybody doing well in any country, it's because they are not joking, they are working. It's not because of being in that country. Not necessarily. Because the fact is, even if they pay you more than what they pay you in Ghana, you still pay more rent than what you pay in Ghana. Cost of living is high in any way. So that's not so much the difference. The difference is, can you do more? You're a doctor. Can you do more? Maybe you go to the surgery. When you come home, maybe you have another business somewhere. You're not lazing around. You want results. We sometimes 12 o'clock, we are moving through town. Sometimes you're moving, you're tired, but you have to work. Why? Because that's where the results comes from. And if anybody is telling you any other thing, that's where the results will come from. If anybody else is telling you any other thing, it's because they didn't work for money. The people who have not worked much for money, have not worked to build any structure to bring you money. Those are the people who are telling people, just work smart and everything will explode. Not the ones who have succeeded. They work, they plan. Some of them may not be physical, but every time they are on the table planning, strategizing, meeting, calling, they are on their phone, sending messages. It's work, because that is what brings in the results. And so if you are partying and you look at the number of hours that you work and you see that you are not giving in the right input, you cannot expect a different future. And that they should let us know. Your finances will not change if you're not getting the right hours. Your position will not change. Even your wisdom will not increase that much if you're not doing much. So if you started that business and you're just playing around thinking that things will change, it's not going to change. Anything that you set your hands to do, anything that you put in front of you, sit back and plan. See how many hours that you have to give it every day, every week, every month, every year, how many hours that you have put in. Because until there's a certain consumption of time, the results will not come. It will not explode, no matter what you say. So every activity requires a certain level of concentration. And you do that by how much you put at it. You see the blacksmith, if they want to break any metal, they put it in the fire, they pull it out, they hit. The breaking point will come at a point where they hit. There will be a certain number of hits that must happen. If those numbers don't happen, the metal will not break. The metal will not break. So work more. If you don't work more, there's not going to be any kind of improvement. It's the hours that we put in anything that you're doing that will make the difference. The hours and how the quality of the hours, the quality of the work that we put at anything that we're doing, that will eventually bring in the difference. That was, so if you want, because most people think that, I don't have to do anything. Things will just happen one day, God will bless me. Those are not necessarily so. I think that if you so much believe in the blessing, you will work more because it's a command, it's a law, it's a principle. If you so much believe that this blessing will be there, you must know what brings the blessing. And most people think that you don't have to do anything to get progress. Life principles don't support that. You work more, you do more, you go the extra mile, and you don't complain, you don't cry, you don't weep. Put in more. Everybody has an advantage, wherever that they are, if they can do more. Put in quality hours to making a difference, So my name is Kwabena, and what I'm talking about is the magic really is in the hours that you put in what you do. You will not make any difference anywhere if you just do things anyhow. You will not make any difference. You will not become the expert at anything or an expert at anything when you do below the average. When everybody is getting 50, you should be looking at getting 100. When everybody is sleeping 3 days a week, you should be looking at sleeping 1 day a week. If you want to achieve anything, work more. Work has never been a curse. It is a blessing. It is a blessing. If you're a student, you want to pass the exam, study more. That's still the key. Nobody is not intelligent. Everybody, I think, has some level of intelligence. If you study more, you work on the old questions, the past questions, you will pass. You are only struggling with the subject because you're not sitting down to study, or you're not asking the people, say, teach me, I want to sit down. Anywhere that we struggle in this life, it's because you have not taken enough time to pay attention to get results. That's why we struggle, So when they are telling you that, oh, me, I'm a nurse in Ghana, they don't pay me much, that's why I'm poor. Okay, so you're a nurse, but after work, what do? Can you open a shop somewhere? Can you open a table somewhere? Can you sell something? Can you do an extra something for some revenue? Because people who have much, they do much. If you're a lecturer and you're complaining that your pay is low or small, it's because in your free hours, you don't do anything. But if you can work 18 hours a day at anything that you work effectively, there will be progress. There will be change. The business is suffering because we are not putting in a lot of hours. We just do 2 hours. We say that we make intelligent choices. And that's why, a lot of intelligent people around the world now, they are smart. They are smart. They say that they use smartphone. There are some things that will never change, and this is one of them. Putting in the hours. You cannot be lazy and win at anything. So you whatever that you do, look at the hours. You work in a bank. How about Sunday? How about Saturday? What can you do extra? Can you start a cocoa farm or some orange farm or maize something? What else can you do? Can you drive a taxi? What else can you do? Can you go and maybe start a restaurant and work on it over the weekend? What is it? Can you be a cleaner? It doesn't matter. Once they will pay you, you are ready. That's why most people don't think. He thinks that, oh no, I'm an engineer, so that's what I can do. And you work just 5 hours, 6 hours a day. The rest, you're watching movie on your phone, and you think that after 10 years you make progress, unless you steal. That's why a lot of people steal, because they are not giving in the required hours. If you give in any required hours, you give yourself time. 5 years, 10 years. No matter which demon is holding what, it will work, it will explode. Because once you work more, you do more. All nations that are doing well, that's their secret. They work. They don't play. They work like animals. They work like slaves. And that's how the systems have been structured. You cannot, they have controlled the people, said that if you don't work, you will sleep outside. If you don't work, you will not go anywhere. That's why their country are developing. The other people who are not developing is because they don't put in any hours. They go for funerals, they go for party, they are celebrating nothing in their poverty. And they still think that the blessing will work. The blessing does not work like that. The blessing is responsibility. The blessing of God is responsibility. So if somebody prayed for you today and told you that he prophesied, you will explode. What they were telling you is that go to work. If you will not go to work, it's not going to happen. Last year, December, they told us, they gave us 31st is also coming around the corner. They will come there and say the same thing. If anybody else is giving you any motivation, any encouragement, any prophecy, and is taking work out, I can tell you that it's not true. Because your life is only progressing according to how much effectiveness and efficiency that you're putting in the hours that you have. And let's assume it's the same efficiency, the same effectiveness. It means that the one who is putting in more hours will get more results. And those are the facts of life. And so our life, my life, your life, they're just reflecting how much effort that we have put in the hours that we have. You're 30 years, you're 40 years. Can you look back and say how many hours that you have put in anything? What have you mastered with your life? What do you know? What is it that you are an expert at? What? You should master something. What is it? What topic have you mastered? What work, what skill do you have? What can people know you of? What is it? How many hours do you use to polish that? Are you a pianist? Whatever. What do you have? You are building a business? Are you a footballer? Are you a surgeon, engineer? What is it that you are mastering? And how many hours are you using every day to build that? Because that is what really you're becoming. You are not becoming anything that you're not spending your life, or anything that you're not putting any time in. That's not what you're becoming. Every one of us is becoming what we are spending our time on. And the more effectively that we spend our time on it, the more effectively, or the better results that we get. So you can only do more. You can only make the difference when you do more. So work more. It makes a lot of difference. Instead of you trying to say that, I've tried. Today I was reading a comment somewhere on some network, and they were saying that the toughest job in Ghana is to, the toughest job, I think they said, is to find a job. So when you talk about job, a lot of people get attention. All kind of people say it's difficult. So that if you want to find a job and nobody knows you and you don't know anybody, when everybody else is going for one interview a day, you're looking at going for 10 interviews because you don't know anybody. That's all. You don't know anybody. And you see, the thing about us is that I think it's maybe deception, one of those deceptions that you have bought, where we think that you're producing all these graduates. The only reason they started to organize jobs is because of industrialization. When they started to manufacture and structure work and jobs. Now, we are not industrialized. Anybody who told you that we are industrialized is a liar. We are not producing that much, which means that we have very limited number of industries. And so, but we are producing more graduates. So what do you expect? We have told them that there will be industrialization. We have told them that they will get job. Who is creating the job anyway? So if you're one, we have about 1,000 of you looking for the same job. So if you just sit back and say that I'm praying and somebody will connect me, you can sit at home for 10 years. It could be frustrating, but that's the reality. So you must understand what you're competing with and do more than everybody. So when you go and they say that come for the next interview, go. And never give up, never go frustrated. If it's taking you 10 years to look for jobs, still continue to look. But then you have to know, these are it, these are reality. And somebody was also saying, can we all become entrepreneurs? I said, no, you don't have to become one. But if you have nobody employing you, then what do? You have to find something to do. So work more. You can only get to your dreams when you condition yourself that way. Resolve to say that I'm going to do whatever I have to do. Any job that anybody gives me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the best at it. I'm going to be the best at anything that anybody gives me to do. If anybody gives me an opportunity to work anywhere, I'm not going to play. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to take responsibility. Condition yourself that way. Have a plan for your achievement. Have a plan for the money that you want. You can only make a difference when you do more. You can only make a difference when you do more. If you want to debate it, no problem. But there are things that I will not debate. And one of it is not being lazy. Diligence. If you have that kind of disposition, if you have that kind of mindset, you can be successful anywhere, including Ghana. So when they were saying that everybody wants to travel, it's because they don't want to work more. If you want to work more, you can be selling anything and be doing you can be a construction worker. Once from work, you're tired, yes, but you go to do another thing. And after that, you go to do another thing. You can only work more if you want to achieve more. Or you can only achieve more if you want to work more. If you believe that, most people, even though they are poor, they're still very proud in their poverty. Most people don't have that much going, but they're still very proud. Think that they have something. Listen, if poverty is a problem, that becomes number one agenda that you have to overcome. And you cannot overcome that if you're lazy. You cannot overcome that if you're lazy. Ask the people who live outside our country. Some of them have been doing 3 jobs for 20 years, 30 years, 2 jobs. They don't sleep. Work every day. They work every day. Holiday, they are working. And you are here. They send you the money and you work once. That's why you're calling them for money. Anybody who is calling anybody for money anywhere, it's because they're not working enough. They're lazy. That's why they're calling you for money. The moment anybody picks the phone to call anybody anywhere for money, free money, it's because they are lazy. The ones who are working beyond their work, they don't have time to even call you. They want to make a difference themselves. So they could be anywhere. They could be in the village farming. And from farm, they go here, they go here, they go here. They look at their time, they work 20 hours a day. They work 16 hours a day. They work 18 hours a day. Those people don't have time to be calling you, begging you to send them money. No, because they have enough. They have solved the basic premise, which is just put in more. And if you put in more and you're diligent, you have more. You have more. It's just a simple philosophy. Those who are looking is because they are looking for shortcut. They are calling every day. Brother, send me money. Sister, send me money. It's because they are lazy. But the only reason you have money to send them is because you are not playing. You're working. You take your work seriously. You're putting in the hours. Even when you're tired, you're still on the road. Even when you're exhausted, you take a nap and you get back on the road. You're not giving excuses. You enjoy the work that you're doing. That is where the future is. So cast your mind around anywhere. Any great person at anything. Gonna ask them their secret. And they will tell you that they put in the hours. They pay their dues. They were not joking. That's why they made the difference. I've heard a lot of these billionaires, they say that they sleep for 4 hours. A lot of them. They sleep for 4 hours. 4 hours. A lot of them, not everybody, but a lot of them sleep for 4 hours. There are a lot of poor people who sleep for 10 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours. And they want to make a difference. It will never work. So if you're ambitious, you want to get to your dream, you cannot be sleeping. You can't be sleeping. You get up, you're organizing, you're thinking, you're planning, you're reading, you're checking, you're praying, you're studying, you're making calls. You go to the work, you're not playing. Because that's where the difference is. That's where the difference is. If you don't like these things, then you are the one looking for anointing oil. You're the one looking for magic. Because you think that just one. And they will tell you that, there are some people who work. They work, but they don't get progress. They don't make any difference. They don't progress. It's not true. Anybody who takes their work seriously, your boss is calling you 1 minute, you are there. They give you work, you deliver. You work it perfectly. Anybody who behaves like that, there's no way more will not be given to you. If you're very good at what you do, People want people who are very good, who can get results, who can do more. People who want to do more with their lives. That's what everybody is looking for. But you go, they call you, say, oh, no, I'm tired. My headache, I have headache. You are not going to go anywhere with your dreams, with your life, because you're making excuses. You can only do more, or you can only make a difference with your finances, with your career, with your dream, with your business, if you do more. If you put more in the hours, you work more. You can't sleep. You don't sleep, you work. Even if you don't have anything to do, find something to do, because that's where the difference is. So when people are complaining that it's difficult here, I think it's not as they put it. The real problem is that they only do one job. He's a teacher, so that's what he does. He's a nurse, that's what he does. He's a police officer, that's what he does. He's an engineer. He goes from where he comes home. He waits for the monthly salary. That will not support. That will not work. When you come home, what else can you do? What else can you take on board? The people who live somewhere, a lot of them, that's what they do. They do more. That's why they're able to have more. That's why they're able to have something to send you. And so, if you are calling people to help you all the time, it means that you are lazy. That's what that shows. You are not conscious of this fact that if you want to make a difference, you have to work more. If you want to make a difference in your finances, you have to go more. If you want to make a difference in your business, you have to go more. Everywhere. You have had people tell us what kind of stories. It's difficult, it cannot be done. It can be done if you're ready to do more. If you're ready to work more hours, if you're ready to go the extra mile, it can be done. It can be done. It's not so much difficult. It can be done. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you. So make a difference by working more. Don't make excuses. Don't make complaints. And if they are not giving you more work, it means that they don't believe that you are good. The more work that they're giving you means that they see something in you. So when everybody else is sleeping, you are up working. No excuses. No excuses at all. No excuses. You see, I said that the people who sell the provision shop or the Makula woman, they are working. That's why they are making. That's why they have a lot of money. They don't sleep. They are in China. They go here, Dubai. Some of them India. They are coming. They are going. That's why they have access. Is the same people that they sent to school. He's working at the Ministry of something. It's not working. It's not working. They are taking bribe. Or the one at the bank is complaining that the salary is small. But how many hours are you working? You go from 8, you close 5, and you think that you have gone to work. It's a matter of fact, after 5, that's where the work must start. If you want to make any difference in your life. When you go to the bank, work from 8 to 5 or 7, you have come home. From 7 to 10 or 12, that is where you find something that you want to do to change the game of your life. If you don't do that, after 10 years, you look back and they tell you that they sack you. They sack you. And when they sack you, you say, I work in a bank, you didn't work there, you just work, you just 8 to 9. That was not work. You should be doing about 2 or 3 times that. And you can do that for the next 10 years, there will be a huge difference that you can make. There will be a huge difference. Great presidents don't sleep. Top business people don't sleep. Top engineers don't sleep. They work. That's why they are top. Any great executive, they're planning constantly. They utilize their time. And you are, you are broke, and yet you want to watch all the games. You don't read any book, you don't study anything. You don't challenge your thoughts. The same way that you were thinking 20 years ago, you think the same convictions, the same philosophy. If they put any subject there, the same revelation that you had it 20 years ago is the same revelation that you have. Anybody at all can tell you anything and you follow them. And you think that you are going to, no. Read more, challenge your thought, challenge the status quo, put in more hours, save more. Because that's how you change your life. That's why you change your life. And it doesn't matter. It can be in any village. If these are your convictions and you work them, if you go to any village, there's always a rich man in every village. Just as there's always a beautiful girl in every village, you know. There's always a rich man in every village. Why? The difference is what? They work more. They don't sleep. They do more. Everybody is sleeping, you see them, they are not. They're working, they're going, they're coming, they're working. That's why they make the difference. Now the other ones who think that they are something, they work a little, they are tired. If you see any family always begging, look at that. They don't work. If you see anybody struggling, they don't work. That's the only thing. If you see anybody working, effort. Even if they don't know what they're doing, after a while they will know what they are doing. After a while, they will start to make a difference because that's how you change the game. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you. So work more, it makes a lot of difference. As a matter of fact, that's the magic. That's the answered prayer. If you're looking for any magic, any trick, any miracle, it's in this. It's in this. So thank you. Thank you for watching.